गुरुरेव गति गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरुः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरुः मतिरस्मि गुरो मम पाहि गुरु सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमभेदकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः। In this video, I would like to share with you the meaning of Canto 1, Adhyaya 4, that is Canto 1, 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavata Purana. In the last chapter, that is in the 3rd Adhyaya, in the end, Sutta Pauranika said to Shaunaka rishis that how the origin of Bhagavata, he gave a gist about the origin of Bhagavata. And Bhagavata was is written by Veda Vyasa. It's a great work of Veda Vyasa. And he taught to his son Shuka Brahma Rishi. And Shuka Brahma Rishi revealed Srimad Bhagavata to Parikshit Maharaja. And that's how Bhagavata was first revealed. And in that group was present Sutta Pauranika, and he heard it and he knew about Bhagavata. And what he learned, he is telling to Shaunaka rishis in the Naimisharanya forest. So this is the background. And now the Shaunaka rishis, they asked Sutta Pauranika one question, because he was explaining like this, and they interrupted Sutta Pauranika and asked this question. Suta Suta Mahabhaga Vadano Vadatamvara Katham Bhagavatim Punyam Yadaha Bhagavan Chukaha. So please explain us, tell us about that Bhagavata which Shuka Brahma Rishi taught to you, or you heard from Shuka Brahma Rishi. Please Sudha, tell about that Bhagavata. And they explained, they described about Shuka Brahma Rishi. Shuka Brahma Rishi was the son of Veda Vyasa, and he was name itself indicates that he is a Brahma Rishi. He was a Brahma Rishi, and he won't be in a place for some time. And Shaunaka rishis, they said about an anecdote about Shuka Brahma Rishi. Once Shuka Brahma Rishi was going in front, and behind him his father Veda Vyasa, he was going there. Since Shuka Brahma Rishi is a Paramahamsa, an Avaduta, he was not clad. He was stark naked and he was going on in front. And Veda Vyasa, he was well clad and he is going behind him. They were passing by a lake, and in that lake, many celestial nymphs were taking bath. Apsaras were taking bath, and when Shuka Brahma Rishi passed them, they didn't care it. They didn't. They were just playing. But when they saw Vedavyasa, they just put on their clothes. And so Vedavyasa asked them, "What is the reason? He is younger than me, and he is not glad, and because he is a Paramahamsa. But you are not. You didn't respond to that. But when you saw me, you immediately put on your clothes. So what is the reason for that?" And for that, the Apsaras, the celestial names, they said, Stribhumbhidanatu Sutasya Vivikta Drishti. Sutta, he doesn't see the difference between man or woman. For him, only Atma. He is such a Paramahamsa. He doesn't see, when he see a person, he doesn't see whether he's a man or a woman or a old or young. Or he doesn't see the body itself. He just considers everyone as the Atma. And that's the reason, because he considered everyone as same, and so that's why we put on our clothes. They said, this is an anecdote. The Shaunaka rishis, they asked a few questions to Sutta Pauranika, and let us see what the questions were. Kasmin yuge pravritteyam sthane vakena hetuna kudas sanchodida krishnaha krutavan sanhitam munihi. The subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, at what age did it take place? And that is the what is the time, and under where and for what reason did that sacred text came into existence? That is the subject matter. For what reason and where did it happen? And they say, explained about the Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa, the great rishi, he has done many work. And his son Shuka Brahma rishi, he won't be in a place for some time even. That is, they will say he won't be here. That is, he was a Paramahamsa, Abhaduta. He won't stay in a place for a long time. Such a great rishi, Shuka Brahma rishi, he revealed that Veda Bhagavata to Parikshit Maharaj, and he was there in a place for 7 consecutive days continuously. How is that possible? And they asked, कथमालक्षिते पौरैः सम्प्राप्त कुरु जाङ्गलान् उन्मत्त मोगजडवत् विचरन् गह साह्वये. They are telling that such a rishi, that is Shuka Brahma rishi, he was always wandering, and he was coming from Kuru and passing through the Kuru and the Jankala Desha, and he entered Hastinapura. And in Hastinapura, how did the people recognize him? How did the people react to him? Because he was an Avaduta. Katham va pandaveyasya rajarshe munina saha samvadha samabhutadha yatraisha satvati shruti. And Parikshit Maharaja, he was the son of Abhimanyu, the grandson of Arjuna, the great one of the only living person in the Pandava clan itself. And he was a great bhakta. Then what was that incident that arranged for that conversation between Parikshit Maharaja and Shuka Brahmarshi? What was that samvada, that conversation between Parikshit Maharaja and Shuka Brahmarshi? And what made the Parikshit Maharaja to leave everything, his kingdom, and give his kingdom to his son, and come to the banks of river Ganga and fast until death? What was the reason for it? Why did he prepare to die? And the people who are the great bhaktas, that is Uttama Shloka Parayanaha Janaha, the great bhaktas, who always sing hymns on Bhagavan, chant the slokas of Bhagavan, they always live for the good of the other people. Lokasya Shivaya, they just live for the auspiciousness of the world. They just don't do anything for themselves. Such a great bhakta, Parikshit Maharaja, what made him to leave everything and come to the banks of river Ganga and to fast until death? What was the incident? The Shaunaka rishis questioned Sutta Pauranika, and for that Sutta Pauranika said, and they asked, please give answers for all this. And the Sutta Pauranika explained or gave answers. He started like this. Dvapare samanuprapte tritiye yuga paryaye jhada parasharadyogi vasavyam kalaya hare. At the end of the Dwapara Yuga, towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, to Parashara Maharshi and Devi Satyavati. Devi Satyavati was the daughter of fisherman Vasu. To them was born Vedavyasa, Krishna Dvaipayana Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa is his title, but his real name is Krishna Dvaipayana. He was the son of Satyavati Devi and Parashara Maharshi. And one day, स कदाचित् सरस्वत्या उपस्पृश्य जलं शुचि विविक्तदेश आसीन उदिते रविमण्डले. Once he was meditating like this on the banks of river Saraswati. His hermitage was on the banks of river Saraswati, and so one at midnoon he was meditating like that, and he was very clearly able to see the transformation of time, the transformation of time from the that is the third yuga is the Dwapara yuga. From that, next fourth yuga is the Kali yuga. So everything changed. The nature of the people, the nature of the world itself, everything changed. So he was very clearly able to understand the degradation of the values in people, and in the future, the people will not be that great. And he explained the nature of people in Kali Yuga. भौतिकानां च भावानां शक्तिह्रास च तत्कृतम् अश्रद्धदानान्न न सत्तवान् दुर्मेधान् ह्रसितायुषः दुर्भागाश्च जनान् वीक्ष्य मुनिर्दिव्येन चक्षुषा सर्ववर्णाश्रमाणां यद्यद्यौहितममोघदृक्. And he was very clearly able to understand the nature of the people. Of course, they will be very weak in health. They will not have strength in their body. That is bhavanam, they do not have strength. Shakti hrasa, no strength in the body. Ashraddha, will not have a faith in anything or not devoted to anything. And no braveness, they will not have that firmness, determination or braveness. Durmedha, that is no less intelligence. And Hasita Ayushah, when they are weak in body, definitely Ayush will be very short lived. They will have a very short lived life, not that great life. And the Durbhaga means ill luck. They will not be that lucky people. So all this he was able to see with his Divya Chakshusha, that is by his Divya vision, he was able to see. So he thought that I must do something for the good of Sarva Varnashrama, all the different Varnas, that is from the Brahmana, Kshatriya, all the Varnas, and for different ashramas also, different stages of life, brahmacharya, grahastha, sannyasa, all that. So for everyone, for all kind of people at all the different periods of time, I must do something good for them. And he was thinking like that. At that time, तत्रद्वेदधरफैलः सामघो जैमिनी कविः वैशम्पायन एवैगो निष्णातो यजुषामुतः अथर्वाङ्गिरसमासीत् सुमन्तुर्धारणो मुनिः इतिहासपुराणानां Pithamero Mahashanaha. And the Sutta Pauranika is telling that Vedavyasa is not an ordinary Rishi. He compiled the Vedas, organized the Vedas, divided the Vedas, and he taught what that particular Vedas, each one division to his students. And he taught the Rig Veda to Paila Maharshi, Yajurveda to Vaishambhayana, Samaveda to Jaimini, and Atharva Veda to the Sumantu Rishi. And Atharva Veda is full of manipulating with energies. So he taught this to Sumantu Rishi, and Itihasa and Puranas to my father, Romaharshana. The difference between Itihasa and Purana is explaining the core concept of the Vedas in a lucid way by giving examples from the incidents happening in that time, and that is subject to change from age to age. It doesn't mean that what is said in the Puranas are all false, because Bhagavata Purana, everyone knows Bhagavan Krishna's Leelas, how can it be false? But it changes with time and many coincidents are added. But it happened like this. In the ancient time, it happened like this. That is the meaning of itihasa. So one may wonder, what is the difference between itihasa and history? In history, the definite dates are given. India attained independence on this day. Gandhiji did salt satyagraha on this day. The Dandi march on this day. Like this. But in Itihasa, only a vague period of time is only said, not the exact date. So he was such a great rishi, but still he felt that something I have to do for the people of the Kali Yuga. And the Sutta Pauranika is telling, Stri Shudra Dvija Bandhunam Trayina Shrudi Gochara Karma Shreyasi Mudhanam Shreya Evam Bhavediha Iti Bharatamakhyanam Kripaya Munina Kritam. So all cannot practice Vedas, because Vedic way of life, or to do the Vedic rituals, one should follow great austerities, tapas, discipline. All cannot follow that. It is only suitable for certain group of people. So what will the women and the people who have fallen from that strict way of life, it may be Brahmanas to Vaishyas or the Kshatriyas. So the people who have fallen from that strict way of life, disciplined way of life, to practice strict austerity, for them and for the women and children, he wrote Mahabharata. Mahabharata was originally known as Jaya, but later they changed it as Mahabharata. So he wrote the Mahabharata, which is said as the fifth Veda itself. In Mahabharata, the theme concept is Dharma. Like in Bhagavata, the theme concept is Bhakti, but in Mahabharata, the theme main concept, that is the theme of that Mahabharata, is Dharma. By Dharma, one can satisfy his desires, karma, provided it must be within Dharma. Following Dharma, one can attain wealth, artha, that is wealth also. We can earn, but followed strictly should be within that boundaries of Dharma. If a person follows Dharma, even if he have this satisfies his desires, karma, or earns artha, then that Dharma itself will lead him to moksha, liberation. So that is the meaning of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All cannot be sannyasis, or all cannot be the paramahamsas. If only paramahamsas are in the world, just imagine how the world will go on, how the karmas will be. The world itself has a karma. How will it be satisfied? So for the people, ordinary people, to attain moksha, if they follow dharma, then it is enough. So that is explained in Mahabharata. He purposefully wrote that for women and the people who have fallen from that strict way of life, that is the Vedic way of life. So he was such a great rishi. So suddenly he had some, he felt unrest in his mind. He was not satisfied with anything. He wondered what the reason was. At that time, suddenly a thought passed his mind. किं वा भागवता धर्मा न प्रायेण निरूपिताः प्रिया परमहंसानां तयेव ह्यच्युतप्रियाः. This thought passed on the mind of Vedavyasa. Is it that I have not said enough about Bhagavata Dharma? That is the Dharma of the people who are the great bhaktas, that divine Dharma, which is very dear to the Paramahamsas, that is the great jnanis, as well as the Priya Achyuta Bhagavan himself. Have I missed that? Just that thought passed his mind. At that time came Sri Narada. He came, Narayana, Narayana, he came there, and Vedavyasa received Narada Maharshi offered him the Aditi Puja and made him to sit on a seat. And Narada, Sri Narada itself would question Vedavyasa. Jignyasitam susampannam abhite mahat adbhutam Krudavan bharatam yastvam sarvartha paribruംഹിതം Jignyasitamathitancha yattad brahma sanatanam athapi sochayasyatmanam ahrudartha iva prabho. So, what is the reason that you are so dissatisfied and you are in an unrest state of mind? What is the reason for it? You have compiled the Vedas itself. If you have not done it, then what will happen to the Vedas? It will be destroyed by time. That great work you have done. You have written the great Mahabharata, the Brahma Sutra, everything you have done. Then what is that that is the four Purusharthas you described in Mahabharata, and you have done the great, written the, compiled the eternal Vedas. So what you have not done? So why are you so in the, or I can see you in a very depressed state of mind. And for that, Vyasa Uvacha, Vyasa said, स वै भवान् वेद समस्तगुह्यमुपासितो यत्पुरुषः पुराणः परावरेषु मनसैव विश्वं सृजत्यवध्यधि गुणरसङ्गः. Yeah, I feel so depressed in mind. I cannot understand the reason. You are a great Rishi. You are always with Bhagavan, who brings out the creation, sustains it, and takes back in him. You are always with him, and you travel around the world just like the sunlight. There is no place where you have not gone. You have gone everywhere in the world. And just like the air penetrates every object, you penetrate everywhere. You go everywhere. There is no place in this world which you do not know, or you know to look into the feelings of others because of your great power, because you are always with Bhagavan, who is the all pervading. Because of that, you have that power to see in the mind of the people. So please tell me, what have I omitted? What have I failed to say? Please tell me that. And immediately Sri Narada said, Sri Narada Uvacha Bhatanudita Prayam Yasho Bhagavato Malam Yenaivaso na tushyeta Manyeta darshanam kilam Yatha dharmadayascharta Munivaryanu न तथा वासुदेवस्य महिमा ह्यनुवर्णितः. You have said about everything, but not about the glories of Bhagavan. You have not said that. You have not, as the importance you gave for Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and to the philosophies, like that you have not given importance to the Bhagavan, to say about the glories of Bhagavan. Any philosophy without bhakti or without telling the glories of Bhagavan will not be accepted by people in the long run. Because in the Kali Yuga also, the people are more, they need sense objects, they are more outward, externally diverted. If you do not tell about the glories of Bhagavan, that great philosophies will not reach them. Even the Paramahamsas and the great yogis, they just enjoy the glories of Bhagavan. And if a work does not have the glories of Bhagavan, said only the core tattva, the philosophy, then they may not like it. He said that is the greatness of glories of Bhagavan is Tadbhagvisargo janadadhya viplavo yasmin pratishloha abhavatyapi namanyanantasya yashonkitani yachunvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. If your work, if it is describes the glory of Bhagavan, and if there is some literary mistakes, maybe grammar mistakes or mistakes in the language, even then Prati shloka, line by line, if there is abadha, if there is any abadha, still the Paramahamsas and the yogis and the great rishis, they will shunmanti, they will hear it, gayanti, they will sing that hymn, grunanti, understand it, enjoy it. The sadhavas will do it. So they will enjoy it even if there are literary mistakes. Prati shloka, each shloka, if there is mistake, line if there is mistake, the sadhavas, if it is the work of bhakti, that is the glory of Bhagavan, explaining the glory of Bhagavan, then they will enjoy it and they will shunvanti, they will hear it, gayanti, they will sing the hymns and grunanti, understand it. But if the work does not have any explain the glories of Bhagavan, then it is not accepted by all. Because all cannot read and the Upanishads and understand the meaning. Majority of the people will be ordinary people only. So to accept your work, you must tell about the glories of Bhagavan. Only then your work will be accepted by all. And he said more. And he said about, now he is telling about the supremacy of bhakti. If a work does not have explained the glories of Bhagavan, then it is not shining. There is no, that work will not shine. There is no brilliance in that work. That's what they say. You are endowed with great power of insight. You can see the past, present, and future. So meditate in samadhi, recall the divine glories of Bhagavan, the leelas of Bhagavan, recall it in samadhi and tell about it, expound about it for the good of the mankind. Because in the future time it's not that good for anyone. So expound them the same for the salvation of the mankind, that he said. If you do not do this work in the future, in the Kali Yuga, and the people will be just like they were caught in a storm, in a boat which is unanchored and caught in the middle of the storm. They will be taken here and there by to satisfy their senses. They are durmeda, they don't have intelligence, their mind is too much external, so they suffer a lot. And moreover, in the Karma Kanda, you have said many rituals to satisfy the desires of the person, and all cannot read your Upanishads or the Brahma Sutra. They are very high class work. So only less than 1% is qualified for it. So if you fail to write about bhakti or the glories of Bhagavan, then they will really suffer. So please do this for the salvation of mankind. And Sri Narada said that a person who follows the Swadharma, and if he follows the path of bhakti, even though if he is not in that perfect, he is not perfected person by bhakti, he is not that great in bhakti, but still somewhere he will hold on and he won't fall down. He won't fall in life. But if a person follow only Swadharma without bhakti, then sure he will fall in life. So please do something or write about the glories of Bhagavan. And Sri Narada said that the people in the Kali Yuga, they are so much taken away by the gunas of Prakriti, and they do not know that they are the manifestation of that Parabrahman. Each one is the manifestation of Brahman. They do not know that they are divine. They think that they are the gunas of Prakriti and spoil their life. So write about it. And he said about the nature of Bhagavan, who Sri Narada said to Vedavyasa about the nature of Bhagavan. Idam hi vishwam bhagavani vedaro yatho jagat sthana nirodha sambhavaha तद्धि स्वयं वेद भवांस्तथापि वै प्रादेशमात्रं भवतः प्रदर्शितम्. Bhagavan, who is by his Maya, he creates, sustains, and takes back in the end and during Pralaya. He creates this world, he brings out the three gunas, but at the same time, he is distinct from it. He is not disturbed by this creation. telling about the Bhagavata Dharma is the true happiness of all. So explain about all the divine incarnations of Bhagavan and also about you, because you are also a kala of Bhagavan. That is, you are also a part of Bhagavan. Tell about yourself also, your incarnation and all the other divine incarnations of Bhagavan. Tell about that. And he said that इदं हि पुंसस्तपसा श्रुतस्य वा स्विष्टस्य सुप्तस्य च बुद्धिदत्तयोः अविच्युतोऽर्थ कविभिर्निरूपितो यदुत्तमश्लोकगुणानुवर्णनम्. Your work, that is, if you explain about the glories of Bhagavan, then that is equal to tapas. Then Shruti, that is reading the scriptures, doing yajna, doing the dhyana and jnana, because that bhakti, the understanding and enjoying the glories of Bhagavan itself will lead our mind to all this, and one can attain moksha, liberation easily. So to do that. And Sri Narada, having said all that, he said, you know why I am telling so much about bhakti? I have a personal experience of it. And he said about his life history in the Purva Janma, that is in his previous birth. He explained the life history, the Sri Narada explained his own life history in his previous birth. And he says that अहं पुराधीतभवे भवं मुने दास्यास्तु कस्याश्चन वेदवादिनां निरूपितो बालक एव योगिनां शुश्रूषणे प्रावृषे निर्विवीक्षताम्. In my previous birth, I was a son of a servant maid who served the Mahatmas, that is the great rishis. They will come there to that place, Pravrishi, that is Pravrishakala means the Chaturmasya, that is the time of, that is 4 months, the rainy season. So they are the Vedavadhinam, they are the Vedic ritualists. So they just go from place to place, from pilgrimage. So they wander around on all the land. They won't sit in a place. So during the rainy season, the Chaturmasya period, that is the 4 months, they will come to one place. In that place, his mother was a servant maid, and she used to serve them, clean that place, help those rishis in their yajna and all. So she is a housemaid there, the person who takes care of all those things. And I was the son of that housemaid. And I also used to help those rishis and these Vedic ritualists. I used to go near them, serve them, clean all their place. Like that, I will do small work. I was very young, only 5 years old, and they were so impressed with me. I was a disciplined child, very humble, very interested in them and interested to serve them. So they liked me very much. And when life was going like this, one day what happened was, with the permission of that great rishis, I happened to taste the remnants of the food left over by the great rishis. Immediately when I took that food, something happened in me. I was able to realize some divinity in me, and that changed my life completely. That changed my life. I also had the ruchi for the Bhagavata, that is for for the divine life which they followed. So they will be always singing kirtanas and the glories of Bhavan in that place. So I also go near them and listen to it very carefully with Shraddha. And gradually what happened was, I was able to, when they sing that hymn, I was able to connect with my inner Atma, completely disconnected from my body and mind. I just go and touch that Atma, like that happened to me. And I was able to understand the Maya of Bhagavan, and I was able to realize that this Jagat, both in the subtle and the gross form, is coming from Bhagavan. It is from Bhagavan all this creation is coming. And I also happen to feel that this Jiva, I am not separate from Bhagavan. All this I began to feel like that because it generated the power of bhakti in me. And I was able to understand the Maya of Bhagavan. That's what he exactly says. And these rishis, they will sing these kirtanas in the three sandhyas, that is from the night to daytime, that morning period 6:30. Then the afternoon sandhya from noon, so from midday to that noon period, 12 o'clock around that time, and the evening sandhya from daytime to night, that is 6:30 period. So I used to take part in all that, and I used to hear all that his kirtanas and the way they do bhakti. And when the Chaturmasya period was over, 4 months were over, 4 months passed on like that. It was a very short time I was with those rishis. After the Chaturmasya period was over, they left this place and they went to the next place. They left there, and before they went, they taught me Jnanam Guhyatamam. They taught me that knowledge which is very secret. They taught me how to meditate, how to see Bhagavan in the mind. All that they taught me, and they left. And Sri Narada is telling, Yadatra kriyate karma bhagavat paridoshanam jnanam yattadinam hi bhakti yoga samanvitam. Whatever action you do, when we surrender it to Bhagavan, then it will generate jnana and bhakti automatically. And he is telling, see me, I didn't do anything. I just surrendered my action. With sincerity, I served those rishis. That's all I did. I surrendered my actions to Bhagavan. That's all I did, but it generated jnana and bhakti in me. So that is the greatness of surrendering all our actions to Bhagavan. And he is praising Bhagavan. Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Haniruddhaya Nama Sangarshanaya Cha. So he's telling that Supreme Being, he is the Vasudeva, and his son Pratyumna, his son Aniruddha, Lord Sankarsana, that is Balarama. All this are the manifestation of that Supreme Lord. Surrender all your actions to Him, then it will generate bhakti and jnana in you. All these are the different manifestations of Bhagavan, the Narada said, and he said to Sri Narada said, and he said to Vedavyasa, now, O Rishi, write about the glories of Bhagavan. That is much needed in today's time, he said. Now, hearing this, Sri Vedavyasa questioned Sri Narada Rishi. You said about your Purva Janma, that also in the different Kalpa, not that different creation, that period itself is different. Not that previous Janma before that Pralaya, that time, you said it. How did you remember it? And he also questioned that after the Chaturmasya period, the rishis went to different place. They went to the next place, and you were there. And what did you do in that body? And how did you discard that body? Just note the words of Vedavyasa. What did you do in that body? So that itself implies that the jiva is different from body. What did you do in that body? And how did you spend the rest of the life? And how did you discard that body? These questions Vedavyasa asked. स्वायम्भुव कया वृत्तया वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं चेदमुदक्स्राक्षी काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम्. Kalevara means body. What did you do in that body? How did you spend the rest of the life? And for that, Sri Narada Rishi said, and after they went, I was myself and my mother, we were alone. And some rishis were also there. We were serving them, and my mother loved me so much, and I too loved her so much. We were in that bond of love, because she also don't have anyone else, didn't have anyone, and I also don't have anyone. So we all were in a strong bond of love. And he says, he describes us to Bhagavan as Ikshasya hi vashe loho yosha dharumayi yata. Like we all are like puppets in the hands of the puppet man, and the puppet man is Bhagavan. He's telling that this loka itself is in the hands of Bhagavan, and he just pulls the string, and we all play according to his pull. And he said that after they went, we both loved each other, myself and my mother. We were like that, and one day Ye gada nirgadhangehan duhantim nishidkambhati sarpo dashat padha sprishtaha kripanangkala choditaha. At one day, my mother, she went to milk the cow in the dark time. It may be the wee hours of the morning, that is 3 o'clock like that, or in the midnight. Anyway, it was so thick dark, pitch dark, and she went to milk the cow. She stamped on a sarpa, and that sarpa bit her, and she died immediately. I was just 5 years old. I didn't know what to do. Do not know what to do, and tada tadahamishasya bhaktanam shamabhipsatha anugraham manyamanaha pradishtam dishamuttaram. I know that what is good for Bhagavan knows what is good for the bhaktas. So I took this as the blessing in disguise. What? His death of his mother, he took it as blessing in disguise. So much he had bhakti for Bhagavan because of the rishis. He stayed with the rishis, even though it's for a very short time. And I do not know anything. I was a 5-year-old child, and I walked Disham Uttaram, northern direction. I just walked like that. I walked for a long, long time, for many days, and I saw many cities, many villages. Some are in the valley, and some are on the top of the mountain. Many forests, gardens, lakes, rivers. Many people I passed, many holy places. I walked, and at last I came. Yekhayevatiyatohamatraksam vipinam mahat ghoram pradibhayaharam vyalolukhakshivajiram. I reached a forest. No one can stay in that forest. It was such a thick forest, lot of trees, reeds, and all that, and many serpents, owls, jackals, fierce wild animals, bamboos, full growth of reeds. It was such a thick forest. And I saw a stream nearby. I had my bath in that stream, and I was so hungry also. I drank some water and had a good bath. And I saw a big tree, and I sat under the tree and meditated on Bhagavan, on the path on the feet of Bhagavan, like how I learned from that great rishis. I was meditating like that then. ध्यायदश्चरणाम्भोजं भावनिर्जितचेतसा औत्खण्डत्याश्रुकलाक्षस्य हृद्यासीन्मे शनैः हरिः. I was able to see Bhagavan in my heart, in my mind. I was able to see Bhagavan very clearly. I meditated on his feet, but suddenly the Rupa of Bhagavan became very clear in my mind. I was so happy, and Ashru running down my face, and I was so happy seeing the Rupa of Bhagavan, all horripilations all over my body. I was just enjoying like that. Suddenly something happened. Apashan sahasottaste vaihlavya durmana iva. So that Bhava, he disappeared from my mind. He disappeared from my vision. I was just meditating like that, and he appeared in me just a second. He disappeared from my vision. And I was so worried. Vaihlavya mana. Vaihlavya mana means worrying mind. I was so worried. I couldn't digest it. I just saw here and there, opened my eyes, I saw all around. I could not see anything. At that time, I heard a Vani, that is a Shabda from Akash. I didn't see any Rupa, but I heard Vani, a Shabda, and that Shabda said, that divine voice said, हन्तास्मिन् जन्मनि भवान् न मा द्रष्टुमिहर्हति अविपक्वकषायाणां दुर्दशोऽहं भूयोगिनाम् सहृद्यदर्शितं रूपं एतत् कामायते नघ मत्कामशनखै साधु सर्वान् मुञ्चति कृच्छयान् सत्वेवया दीर्घया तेजाधामयि दृढामतिः हित्वा वद्विमं लोकं गन्धामज्जननामसि मतिर्मयि निर्बधेयं न विपद्येत कर्हिचित् प्रजासर्गनिरोधेऽपि स्मृतिश्च मदनुग्रहात्. At that time, that Vani, that sound, that Shabda from Akasha, it said, Anto, O my son, O my son, in this Janma, you do not have na arhati, you do not have qualified, you are not qualified to see my Rupa. Why? Because avipakva, because of immaturity due to kashayanam, due to the impurities in your mind and body. You are not matured to hold my rupa in your heart or mind in this janma. Then why did you know why I showed you my rupa? He might have not shown it itself, isn't it? But why I showed you, develop desire in you. So you will go behind this rupa, you want to see that again and again, and you will purify your mind itself. All the other desires you will leave and you go after that. For that reason only, I showed my rupa for just a second. But you were with the rishis, that is during the Chaturmasya period, even though it's for a very short time, because of that meeting, your mind is purified and you can hold on to this desire, determination, and because of my blessing also, you will not be distracted by anything in this janma to see that, have that determination. And in your next birth, that is in the next creative cycle, next kalpa, majjana tamasi, you will be residing with my jana, my people, and you will be one of my great attendants. You will be my attender, you will stay with my people, but that is in the next creative cycle one day. But now, no one can distract from your determination, and you will remember all this very clearly. Even when the pralaya happens or the next evolution happens, you will remember all this very clearly. That sound said from the Akasha, and it disappeared. So from then on, Sri Narada was singing about the glories of Bhagavan. Wherever he goes, he doesn't care who is there because of the blessing of Bhagavan. So determined in this bhakti, he was always singing about his glories, and here and there he is going. And so at the age came and at the right time came, प्रायुज्यमाने मयितां शुद्धां भागवतीं तनुम् आरब्ध कर्म निर्वाणो न्यपतत् पाञ्चभौतिकः. So when the time came for that, for him to leave the body, he left this body that is attained by the prarabdha karma, and when that is the combination of the 5 elements. He left that body and attained a divya sharira, and he was there. He attained that divya sharira. And he left this body and attained the Divya Sharira. So after some time, the Pralaya happened. So all the beings, including himself, they all went inside Bhagavan through Lord Brahma. And Lord Narayana was on his yogic slumber on the waters of the deluge water, that is on the Pralaya water and causal water, and he was lying there, and we all are in him. And the Brahmaji, Lord Brahma also, he went to sleep, that is, he became inactive. 1,000 divine years passed on like this. That is many years than the human years. It passed on like that. That is the time of Pralaya. Passed on like that. And in the next creative cycle, I came from Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma he created this universe, I came from him, and he says that, and from then on, Devadattamimam Veenam Swara Vibhushitam Muchavitva Harikatam Gayamanas and from then on, this Veena which I have is given by Bhagavan himself. Devadatta Imam. This Veena is given by Bhagavan himself. And the greatness of this Veena is it plays the musical tones automatically. Using this Veena, I am singing Harikadas and going from here and there. All the place I go singing Harikadas in this Veena. And he says, यमादिभिर्योगपथैः कामलोभहतो मुहो मुकुन्दः सेवया यद्वत् तथात्मानधानः शाम्यति. There is people who have so much of sense object attachments, was so much diverted to the external world. For all of them, yama and niyama will not suit, and all the yoga methods will not suit, because they have so much sense gratification, they have so much need, sense satisfaction. So all that will not work for them. For them, only bhakti will work. This Sri Narada said to Vedavyasa, and he left that place. All this is said. Who is telling? Sutta Pauranika is telling to Shaunaka Rishis. And the Sutta Pauranika now says, Aho Devarshi Danyoyam Yat Kirtim Shangadhanvanah Ghayanda Madhyanitham Tantriyaramayat Paduram Jagat. And great is Narada Rishi singing in all this Krishna Katha, that is the glories of Bhagavan Krishna in his using his veena. He himself is enjoying and gives joy to all others also. He gives joy to the three worlds and he himself is enjoying. We can only give happiness or satisfaction or advice only to the people when we enjoy first. We must accept advice, only then we will be qualified to give advice. We must enjoy Bhagavan, we must enjoy his glories, only then that alone is needed to explain about the glories of Bhagavan. This Sutta Pauranika says, and with this ends chapter 6 of Canto 1. That is the 6th adhyaya of first Skanda. In my next video, I will continue with the next adhyaya of Srimad Bhagavata Purana. Om Shri Narayana Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste.